Hi everybody, this review is on the movie Killer Clowns from Outer Space. So the plot of this movie is this couple named with this guy named Mike Tobacco and this girl named Debbie Stone. Yes, Mike Tobacco, that's his real name. Uh, they're out on a date and they hear something crash in the middle of the forest and they find out that it looks like a UFO, and it is. They go inside and find out it's an alien spaceship, and it's full of these aliens that look like clowns. And so they run off and tell everyone, and of course nobody believes them. And so even more teenagers go around trying to investigate this UFO and all these alien clowns, and they find out that they're these evil blood-sucking alien clowns who feast off human blood, and they want to preserve all humans to feast on them. So they got to alert everybody about the invasion and hopefully make sure everyone believes them. Yeah, was a good film. It wasn't a hit when it came out really, but it has developed a cult following over the years for good reason, and it's fun. Like it's a science fiction comedy. It's supposed to be like a parody of B movies more so, because lots of people deem this a horror movie, and it's not really a horror movie. I mean, I guess it's a good horror parody, but the movie's really more silly than it is scary. I mean, I guess aside from like how the clowns look, I guess there's probably nothing really scary. But I mean, maybe if you're like, I don't know, 4 or 5, you would find this movie scary, but it's not scary. It's more just goofy fun. And you know what? That's really all you need. It's a movie called Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Clown spelled with a K. Obviously, it's going to be a really goofy movie, and that's really what you get. It's a really good B movie homage. It really has that 80s cheese to it. Like, it's obviously by today's standards it's not very good, but that's kind of the fun of it. It's like a modern day B movie. Like, this is how a B movie would be made today, by making it feel like an giving it a lot of 80s cheese to it. And that's really what makes it fun. The characters, they're not really that interesting, mostly just a bunch of teenagers, and that's kind of really it. And there's a cop in the movie, and he keeps getting alert. There's a running joke in the movie where he keeps getting calls about the killer clowns, and he of course never believes it until whoopsie, he probably should have believed it. And it's just fun. It's like a good parody of both like horror films and just science fiction B movies, because it kind of is kind of like a parody of a slasher movie, even more so given all the main characters are teenagers. With other slasher films like Friday the 13th and Scream and Nightmare on Elm Street, like those, like the characters were teenagers, so it kind of does kind of make fun of that in that case. And for a movie that had a really low budget, some of the practical effects actually aren't that bad. The makeup effects on the clowns are actually weirdly good for the low budget it had. The clown makeup and costumes actually don't look that bad. I mean, the sets are not very good. Like, when you get in, for like most of the third act or even half the movie more so, you get to see the inside of the clown alien spaceship, and I mean, the idea is fun. Like, it's designed like a circus, and you see lots of colorful, surreal imagery, so that kind of makes it fun. But it really obviously just looks like a built set. It looks like an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, like the original one from the 90s. In fact, this honestly does kind of feel like an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, but more for teenagers, because this movie isn't made for kids. So if you have that really love for like really cheesy B movies from like the 50s, or even to add to it, even if you love like that 80s style to films, I think it goes pretty hand in hand, at least in terms of what to do, because I guess at the time this was just considered another 80s movie that just tried to feel like a 50s movie. But given lots of 80s films are kind of considered dated now, I guess it kind of adds to the cheesiness, so it does feel a lot more like a natural B movie homage. And it's a fun film. Like, it's very silly. Like, it's not funny per se. Like, nothing in the movie was particularly funny. It's just kind of goofy and just kind of ridiculous and over the top. It's like Gremlins. The best way I can describe this movie is like, it's like Gremlins, but not as nowhere as good as Gremlins. Gremlins is a really good film. This movie, but like it's good for what it is. It's a fun. If you, I guess, if you have a fear of clowns, obviously this isn't gonna be seen as a fun, funny, campy film. It's probably might be creepy to you, but you know what? If you don't, if you're not scared of clowns, this is just gonna feel like a silly, horror parody, and that's what you get if you're a fan of horror and want to see like a goofy take on it with that really mocks the idea of really old cheesy plots. I think this is a good one to check out if you don't take it too seriously. Like obviously, if you go in expecting a, this to actually be a slasher film and actually be scary, you're going to be really disappointed. But if you're in the mood for something ridiculous, you're going to like it. So yeah, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It's a pretty good film. I can see why it got a cult following over the years. I wouldn't call it great, but it is enjoyable. So, see you next time, everybody.